Hi everyone, myself Naku Prithvi. In this video, I will be discussing about AWS SAM, Serverless Application Model, and how to use it to deploy different serverless architecture as resources. So, yeah, without getting more details, let's quickly see what I will cover in this video. I will be discussing about CloudFormation, which is you can consider as a prerequisite to know before knowing AWS SAM, and I will discuss about AWS SAM in brief, and then I will show you a practical video or step by step till the creation of these resources, serverless resources like API gateway, Lambda, and AM role. So yeah, and to note that in this note I want to yeah mention that these, if you are not familiar with these resources, please look into the my other videos on this API gateway and Lambda. I will attach in the description so that you will get a more idea on what are these resources and why we are doing it. But nevertheless, this video is morely concern and explain on usage of SAM. Still, you can follow the video and you can see how SAM works. But it is a good practice to see to better understanding of the video, and I will show some errors which you may encounter and the solutions for them. Let's without waste yeah, let's get into the video content. So cloud formation, what is cloud formation? Cloud formation is nothing but AWS service which helps you to provision AWS resources. Basically, you need to create a template in JSON or ML format which describes all resources that you want. Like I want this kind of EC2, or I want this kind of Lambda with this much configuration, which this much memory timeout. You need to create that kind of template, and if you give it to CloudFormation, it takes care of provisioning and configuring those resources for you. So that is simple of CloudFormation. So you might have heard infrastructure as a code. So CloudFormation powers that concept. So it is basically CloudFormation. The advantages is basically simplify the infrastructure management. So because like for an application you might need to create the resources as well as link them. So if you do from console, there can be more challenges of linking and browsing different pages, clicking different things. But it's simplifies that infrastructure creation and management for you. Basically cloud formation, you basically using this kind of approach on cloud formation service, you can replicate your infrastructure you created to another account or for another service or another region, something like that. And it is easy and control track changes to your infrastructure, which is important point, because in the application you several times needs to monitor the configuration changes you made in the infrastructure also. uh, so having that infrastructure as a code and using the cloud formation service for it is an very good service practice in creating the infrastructure. So this is the documentation of cloud formation. So then I will, so let's see what is SAM. So we have seen why but basically SAM also does the same. Uh, it is also used for creating the infrastructure also. Then why it is different from cloud formation? It is not a different service, it basically a wrapper on cloud formation. Behind the hood, during the deployment, SAM transforms and expands SAM syntax to AWS cloud formation syntax only. So SAM is also for SAM also you need to have a template, and for SAM also is used for creating the infrastructure and managing it and deploying it. But it provides even less, basically simplifies basically the code for you uh, in creating the infrastructure, particularly serverless, as the name mentions, serverless infrastructure. Basically AWS SAM take care of it. Basically it provides an easy way of you writing template for creating the resources of serverless architecture. Then yeah, that is about AWS SAM. Let's see a quick demo. Basically the demo is a, I mean, getting started hello world example which I will be showing, where I will be creating these services, and I will be explaining about what are the inputs and what are the steps and how it is used to deploy it, and also the terminology present there. Let's get into the demo. So I'm using Ubuntu Linux environment using WSL. So all the installations I will be doing in Linux environment. So if you from the Windows, you can install WSL and have this Linux environment. Then the installation steps you can do in Windows also. It's not in yeah hurdle, but Linux environment is better for uh, programmatic purpose, so it's better to use this. Let's go and create a folder. AWS, sorry, uh, serverless SAM, SAM architecture, SAM serverless architecture, serverless resources. Once you create an let's create a separate environment for it. It's also just best practice. You can uh, basically it's not mandatory. I'm just creating to basically isolate the installations Python related um, packages between the outside and this one. Once you created, let's follow the steps, and yeah, this is the steps. Okay, this is the application which I want to create. So user and API gateway and lambda. On for API gateway to invoke lambda, there is an permissions AAM role also we need to create. So for example, like lambda to use the use another resources, you need to create that role and give it in the template. So that is what we are going to do. We won't be requiring role to invoke, but the role is generally used by lambda for invoking another services. Basically I need to correct my initial statement, but like yeah, we'll create an API and we'll create a lambda and a role and attach that role to this lambda. So that is what we are going to do. So let's see the prerequisite. You need to install AWS CLI for it. uh, so these are the steps. AWS CLI, you need to install this AWS CLI using these steps. For the Linux, you need to just curl it, and you need to unzip it, and you need to install it. I already installed it, but I will just quickly show you. But if it is taking time, I might skip as well. You just curl it, which will download it, and unzip it, and install it. You need to, for sudo, you need to provide an use password, right? That is the steps you need to follow, and you need to check its version using AWS version. It is installed, and you need to configure the credentials. uh, so I already configured the credentials, but you can configure the credentials. That is also a next step. Okay, use this AWS CLI to configure the credentials. This is how you need to configure credentials. These credentials are nothing but IAM user credentials. If you are not familiar with IAM user, check my video. So you need to create a programmatic user which have these credentials which provide description. This is where I created the app user, and I created the credentials under here to show you. You just create an access key and secret key. For organizations, generally, uh, they use IAM rules for more security, which we also generally need to use. But for simplicity, I created the user and provided the access, provided the credentials here. So this is the prerequisite required to deploy the this deploy these AWS resources. But for just building and doing the invocation from local, this prerequisite of configuring the credentials is not required. So then installing the AWS CLI. Okay, this is the second step. So you need to install AWS CLI. So you need to download it. You just get link, copy link address, and you need to w get, uh, and it will download for you, and you just unzip and install it SAM version. So I already installed, so I'm not uh, I can show you, but it may not be useful. Yeah, it may delay us, but let's quickly show you. And possible errors you can get is, you might have got this get this error, pip executable not found. So you need to install this pip python 3 using this, and you might need to also update your apt-get package manager if you're using Ubuntu, and em for if you are using yeah, another. So you also might uh, get this error if the template version, which you will show in a way, there is a version you need to specify for creating lambda and for building it, so that should match with your local version. So if you generally by default it comes with 3.9, but if your PC locally, if you have python version 3.8 or 3.7, you need to convert this template.yaml to that version, so that you won't be running into this issue. So those are the possible errors which you might get, you might encounter. So let's get into, okay, let's quickly cover this also. uh, you just need to unzip it, and you need to run SAM installation, since it already existing it, and then you need to do SAM inversion. Oh shit. uh, okay, then you got this SAM version also. Okay, then let's follow this. Okay, first the SAM init. So you SAM init will basically, let's see what are the things present here. So there is AWS folder, this SAM installation is present now. Basically SAM init, what it is providing, let's see, or like let's make a different under it, application, cd application SAM init. If I do SAM init, uh, it will ask different option custom template location, but I will do it from quick start, and as also specified in this tutorial, let's follow the same. We'll show you hello world example, and use the most popular runtime and package. Let's say yes, we'll modify later because my local version is python 3.8 which I specified. So which runtime, okay, it is saying which runtime you want to use. I want to use python 3.8. What package type you would like to use? So there is a zip package and image package, SAM supports. Zip is nothing but if you want to use lambda as normal function. Image based is if you want to use lambda as an image based lambda. uh, Generally image based lambdas are used when you have want more memory, or yeah, if it is exceeding the normal functional limits. Mm, Generally, then only use for general it is Egypt. Would you enable X-ray tracing functions in your application? So X-ray tracing help you to debug when there is an application related error. I am saying no. CloudWatch application insights also helps you in debugging the errors more. And project name SAM app. Okay, I'm fine with it. So it created an this application SAM. Okay, I need to install it. So this will be this tree. This command will just show you what is present in the app in a tree thing. I think I can show you via uh, VS Code also, but yeah. Uh, so it contains these function events and hello world. This is our main function, and it contains the configuration, and it contains the template which is used to create the lambdas and APIs. Let me show you the code in it. So code will be, I mean, like I'm just uh, starting a VS code under this path. So this is our folder. So as I said, this template.ml. So what it is saying is it is basically creating these resources. It is creating the hello world function. Sorry, it is creating a lambda function. The hello world is just a logical ID, because you might create different uh, functions, right, in under this template. So this hello world is just a logical ID for representing this lambda. So here it is saying type serverless function, and these are the properties for that lambda. You can provide name, tags, different things under these properties. These are the lambda properties, and this is a lambda function we are creating. And by specifying this is the beauty of SAM. By these lines itself, it is basically creating an API, and also linking it with the lambda. So this is how easily we can do uh, using SAM. In the cloud formation, you might need to create API gateway separately, and you need to create a linkages between API gateway and lambda separately. But this is an easy way which uh, SAM provides for you to link. So this is a hello, and this is a get method. So basically, I mean, better if you see the API related video of mine to see what is this hello means. This is basically a resource, API gateway resource, and this is a method. And you need to specify under properties, and type is API, and hello world is a logical ID of this API. So and events is basically linking this lambda with this API, and this hello world function is uh, the logical ID of this serverless function, which is lambda function. This is the code required for creating lambda, and this is the code required for creating API gateway and linking with it. And if you see the starting, these are the template formation, and it is saying it is a serverless kind of transformation required. And these globals are nothing but if you create multiple functions, hello world function 1, hello world function 2, hello world function 3, then those all functions require these kind of uh, variables like timeout and memory. So you can globalize and keep it here, or you can keep in under the properties also. And these are the outputs you can declare, which will be shown when you execute SAM deploy. So this is the lambda. But where is the code? Here you are saying code is equal to this URI. Uh, so the code is needs to be present under the same repo, same folder. So it contains app.py, which is just returning hello world. So again, you can write your function code as fit. The beauty of the, I mean, like this SAM here is, uh, basically you just need to have in the requirements.tx request, or if you want to use SageMaker, it is SageMaker. Basically, if you want to use some other OpenAI kind of things, you just use OpenAI kind of packages here, so that it will automatically install it for you. I will show you in the SAM build. Basically, it will automatically build it for you using SAM build, and it will also automatically include that this package within your function and deploy it using SAM deploy. So SAM build is the one which is building this package Python library, and it helps you to combine it with uh, Lambda code, and SAM deploy will deploy whatever is built by SAM build. So that is the beauty of SAM. So this requirements.txt basically can be dealt using layers also, SAM layers, sorry, AWS Lambda layers. So I will show you how to create those layers, maybe via SAM, using maybe in the next video or so. But there are two ways basically you providing these requirements. That's what I'm trying to say. One is directly provide this as a requirements.txt and combine it with Lambda code, or provide it as a layer and attach it to your Lambda. So the second part I will show you in the next video, but this is the first part. This part may not be, may fail in some large packages, or it may not be a good practice also, but yeah, I will show you nevertheless, but you can use it in this way also. But layers is more basically better than this approach. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, let's see. This is the hello, this is how you specify your code, and these are the test cases, integration test, unit test you can have. Currently it's so this is how you can test the API gateway, and you can have this when during CI/CD you can invoke this test and have this test. And yeah, basically this is the SAM configuration template where you can say these are the parameters, these are the global parameters, is built through these kind of things, and this is the SAM template which I explained you. So now without yeah, delaying, let's get into the other parts also. uh, so let's get into the other part, SAM build and SAM deploy, how to build it and how to deploy it. So how to build an application. So you need to create a SAM build. You just use the SAM build command. So let's build it. Template not found. Okay. Okay, I need to go to SAM app folder and build it. Yes, it has built, but let's see the how what it is built. So it created this folder. If you see here, 8.aws sam. So here, if you go to build section, you will see this hello world. So it contains same app.py, it contains same requirements, but if you do pip install request, these are all the things which will be created, right, under yeah, which are required for that request, right, request module. So these will be basically combined with your Lambda code, and treated as a single Lambda function. So that is what SAM build is doing. So now let's deploy it. You can also use SAM deploy guided, or you can also, if you have configuration preset, you can also basically SAM deploy the configuration file and you can do it, or you can specify as an arguments also. But yeah, yeah, another important thing is build.toml, where the build related information is present. This is about SAM build. Now let's get into SAM deploy. uh, SAM app is fine for me. Yes, east one is fine for me. Okay, let's go to yes, let's hello. Okay, roll back. So it is saying like whether you want to roll back when there is one resource disturbed, then you are saying okay, because lambda function has no uh, security, it's fine. SAM config and default is fine for me. So now it is saying, it is trying to, first it will see what are the things when it will add, and it will create a chain set for you. This is the chain set. These are the things which will be trying to create: API gateway deployment and stays, and a lambda function on IAM role. I want to deploy it. Let's say yes. Then it is trying to deploy it. So it under the hood it uses CloudFormation only. uh, Let me, okay, it's creating in process. Let me show you in that case the CloudFormation. So you go with CloudFormation, and if you refresh it, here you can see the progress also, although you might not be required to open it, but here, so it created role just now and it is creating lambda function. It created the lambda function also, and here if you see the events, it will, you look all the events which are being created. So it created API also. So these are the things, and it says okay, it gives okay, this is the hello IAM role created, API gateway created, and function. So this is how easily we can deploy the lambda function and API gateway and link them using SAM. Without yeah delay, let's quickly trigger. This is how you can list all your thing. We can just let's trigger our API. Okay, curl, we just curl our API. So it returns hello world as it required. We can also uh, basically invoke our lambda from local itself, because we already have permissions for invoking it. So hello world function is the function, basically the logical ID you need to specify. The logical ID is hello world function only. If you see here, that in the template also we have taken the hello world function. If you modify it, you need to modify the in here also for invoking it. So invoking lambda function, so we just invoke the function and it is saying hello world. So this is how we successfully uh, saw the I, uh, deployment. So from installation to deployment, I have shown you and explained different uh, configurations of API gateway lambda and IAM role. But if you're not clear, once watch the video which we have created and discussed API gateway and lambda from the AWS console. Basically this all the things which you have seen, infrastructure as a code is just doing the way the programmatically rather than console, but it is kind of using no different between them. And yeah, that is about AWS SAM. So yeah, let's discuss uh, again with the layers, AWS SAM layers in part 2. Yeah, thank you for watching the video.